Make sure everything's straight here first. One second. Come on, everything's straight.
Facebook and everything.
Yeah, come on.
He'll do the same with you. Many of you.
Yeah, Shalom.
Shalom.
We are the I.S.U.P.K coming out of 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General YAHANNA. We have been teaching this truth since 1969 that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. All right? And today, we're just going to touch a little bit on the Carnival pagan holiday, all right, that we have, that Trinidad and Tobago are celebrating. All right? Right now, out in the streets, a lot of people are partying and drinking in excessive wine and revelry, right? Politicians, straight down to the average common man, right? So today we're going to learn a lot about this pagan holiday, right? We're going to touch on where it comes from, and we're going to give a biblical edification, right, about this pagan holiday.
Okay.
All right. So, the first thing first, right? When we think about Carnival today, right? Immediately it comes to mind of having a good time and freeing oneself. You know what I mean? A lot of people just say they're getting rid of the stress, right? And the freedom of the self is only 2 days in this year I can free up myself and do what I want. You understand? And one of the terms that we should stick at and or keep in mind is that a lot of people say that they can do what they want, right? And this is what gets us in trouble, right? Because the Christian church and Carnival goes hand in hand, right? And a lot of people, sometimes the church will try to defend themselves and say there's not a part of Carnival and it's an evil demonic holiday. But the truth about this is that the church and Carnival goes hand in hand, right? And as we go along, we'll get into the truth about this topic, all right?
Okay.
So, if you could, Babakasha, you could just look up the term Bacchanalia.
Okay.
All right? So I'm find it in America. All right, the term Bacchanalia is B-A-C-H-A-C-N-A-I-L-I-A. Bacchanalia. All right, and we're going to learn the truth about how this pagan holiday has derived and taken over this period of the year and why, and its relation to modern day Christianity as it is.
Okay. Ready?
Yeah, well.
Kan. Taking it from me, right?
Yeah.
Right, kan. Bacchanalia, the Bacchanalia or Bacchanal / Carnival.
All right, so you say the Bacchanalia, right?
Mm-hmm. Or Bacchanal / Carnival.
Carnival. So the meaning for this word is a derivative of carnival. Go ahead.
Kan. Where Roman festivals of Bacchus based on various ecstatic elements of the Greek Dionysia.
That's right. So this was from a Roman festival, right? We celebrating the god who? Bacchus. Go ahead.
They seem to have been popular and well organized throughout the central and southern Italian peninsula.
That's right.
They were almost certainly associated with Rome's native cult of Liber.
That's right. Continue.
And probably arrived in Rome itself around 200 BC. However, like all mystery religions of the ancient world, very little is known of their rites.
That's right. So Bacchanalia or Bacchanal, right? Or Carnival was the celebration of the Roman god Bacchus, right? And god Bacchus was a stolen god from the Greek, right? I believe the Greek version of this god was Dionysus.
Right.
All right. So I know here locally here in Trinidad we like to say Carnival is Bacchanal. Right? That is the slogan for Carnival, right? So right there, they straight up start to worship the god Bacchus, right? Through this pagan religion or festival, right?
Right.
And I just like it to look up the word excessive. EXCESSIVE, excessive. Right? Because in Carnival and excess seems to go hand in hand with each other. Everything is done in excess. So we look up the word excessive.
Excessive. Going beyond what is usual.
It says going beyond what is usual.
Normal or proper.
Alright? Don't have any more?
No,
alright. So it says going beyond what is usual, normal, or proper. Alright? So for a good example, right? A man could drink wine or he can't drink alcohol, right?
Right.
He could drink alcohol. But during the carnival season, one seems to go in excess, right? He goes beyond to the point where he is brought low to drunkenness. Right? And we see it all over in Trinidad when they pass through this carnival holiday. You see men and women lying on the street because they can't make the reach home.
Right.
You understand? Or on a cardboard box. You understand? Some of them half naked on the side of the road. They know themselves, some vomiting.
Right.
You understand? Right? And they wouldn't know themselves for a couple hours after. Some even have to be taken to the hospital because the amount of alcohol they consume, right, it carried them to extreme drunkenness.
Right.
Right? So if Carnival is the celebration of this god Bacchus, and Bacchus is the god of wine and revelry, right? And it coincides with doing things in excess, right? So it goes hand in hand. So now, right? I just wanted to. I'm gonna play the little clip.
Yeah, come on.
You'll be able to see it on the TV.
I will turn it.
Yeah, you come out. So.
Come on. Let's give me 1 minute. Yeah, come on.
Let's stop it on. All right. So this is a little clip, right? This is a 1957 clip, right? Where they're exposing the outside world to the Trinidad version of Carnival or early times when Carnival started in Trinidad, right? So we could go ahead.
Come on.
From Leon Zone to where glamour is the exception of the rule, we go to London Airport, where there's always abundance of it, and where even the typically English weather doesn't seem so depressing after a welcoming smile from air hostesses like lovely Margaret Sheffield. But in case you're wondering how these stewardesses keep smiling when the weather is so dismal, let's go with Margaret on a routine flight. The rain swept London one day, and the next, the sun-drenched islands of the West Indies with their incomparably lovely landscapes. This then is Trinidad. But captivating though it is in its own right, for 2 days in the year, this serenity is transformed into a vivid blaze of color like the annual carnival.
All right, so basically, So basically, right, what it's showing is that most tourists or foreigners, when they come to Trinidad, right, they come to Trinidad after they spend their Christmas holidays and go to the winter. They come to Trinidad to participate in this carnival season,
Right.
or the worship of Bacchus, because down here the weather is warm.
Okay.
Right, so they escape the cold and they come to the warmth of Trinidad to celebrate this 2 days of Trinidad Carnival. Go ahead.
Right.
Continue.
The lives of the people that the rest of the year is spent preparing for it.
Right, and you could go along as you see him, you see the women sewing different costumes by hand. Go ahead.
Secrecy being maintained, for example, only wonderful costumes to be worn. The money for this, collected from individuals and paid into a common fund, sometimes represents several months' hard-earned wages.
Stop.
Okay.
By the way, the marches and calypso accompaniment to the procession are provided by the rhythm of the now famous.
Right, so the city, some of the people, right, the money for the costume, right, all the people will come together and they will contribute towards the buying of the different materials to make the costumes, right, and they say the costumes, and this is in 1957, right, the costume will cost them a couple months' wages, right?
Right.
So the money that they're supposed to use to feed the family and whatnot, right? A couple of months' wages they're saving just to buy a costume for this 2 days. Go ahead.
Okay.
Steel bands, specially made for the occasion. The festival has its roots in the 16th century, but has, of course,
Stop.
Okay.
Right, so then they explain that the Carnival Festival has its roots way back in the 16th century. All right, long before it touched down in Trinidad.
Right.
Right, and here we like to say we the former Carnival, but that never originated here.
Right.
Right, continue.
And in recent years has become a feature of Trinidad. Inhabitants of the neighboring islands, as well as tourists from the United States, flying over especially for the carnival. A short journey that would once have taken several weeks, now come by jet to only a few hours. At the airport, Margaret meets her friend from another line, Betty Lou Fisher, and after a change out of uniform, they're off to the carnival.
Right, you see the old Trinidad airport.
Right.
About 50,000 people, divided into sections known as bands, each with its own picturesque name like Brazilian Bandits and Crazy Man Crazy, take part. The bands vary in size from 1,500 people to ingenious individuals like Betty Lou and Margaret, although of course they haven't had time to prepare proper costumes.
Of course.
As you can imagine, the cost is fabulous.
Right. So in this part, what I'm going to show you here, right? You're going to see the festival processions, right?
Right.
And remember, and you have to keep in mind that this is the year 1957 in Trinidad, right?
Okay.
And you look into the procession, right? And the procession depicting people of all races and nationalities, right? And everybody bringing a piece of the heritage, right? So
Right.
you're keeping that in mind.
Okay.
Right?
The material used in the Glory of Greece band with 607 people alone.
Right? So you're seeing masqueraders from Greece, right? In a Grecian costume.
Right.
Right? You have Egyptians, right? Portraying the Egyptian costume. You have Native Indian with the feathers.
Prizes are awarded for the most original and attractive
Right?
outfits,
All the depictions of the movies, things like Godzilla and all kind of myths with the makeup.
but the expenses and effort that go into these fantasies are far more than the price value. Another astonishing thing is that no matter what the cost, costumes and figures are not used again. It is in fact a year's work for 2 days.
Right? So basically we're just saying, after the costume used for these 2 days, right? And people spend months at the salary, right? After them 2 days, they're not using the costume again. It's literally they train it out.
Right.
So a couple of months' salary goes away for 2 days, and the costume they're getting rid of the costume for after that 2 days. Right? So you throw it about 4 months of salary just for 2 days. Go ahead.
Okay.
While just as color conscious, the crowd dress as vividly as they can.
Right? So all kinds of games. So we see Egyptians, we see Grecians, Romans. Well,
Incidentally, as a matter of interest, steel bands introduced after the war were banned at one time because of the number of vehicles that were being robbed of bumper bars and other useful parts. Fortunately, today they're not. And for mile after mile, the procession takes 4 hours.
Native Indian, them and all get happening.
Right.
The Europeans, they come with their own band for Carnival. And can people in mind, this is the East Indian. This is 1957. Then you have people from Spain, right? Right? All the masqueraders with the bull in Spain, they come into Trinidad with their culture to play Carnival. North African.
For at this time, personal interest on the gospel. Everyone gives their all for the privilege of sharing this experience. Typical of the unquenchable spirit that makes the Trinidad Carnival an unforgettable occasion.
Right. So basically, right? You can turn it back.
Yeah, can.
Right. So basically, with this short clip showing you, right, that in the early stages, when they began the Carnival festival started taken to Trinidad and taken ground, they began to infuse the culture of all the people here in Trinidad.
Right.
Right? So they began to put that spirit of everybody coming together, or everybody holding hand, or what we call as integration. Right? So through Carnival now, they're trying to infuse integration into the society.
Right.
Understand? And now everybody started to pick up one another culture. Understand? So the black man infused with the East Indian infused with the Chinese, the Egyptian infused, and it's just chaos, madness, and mess.
Right.
So from a pagan holiday, what they say, this is a celebration to free the stress, understand? And a time to free up yourself and forget your worries in the world. In other words, you're starting to infuse yourself or make yourself familiar with the different cultures. And because it's a time of celebration, the taking on these cultural practices become a norm. You understand? So it become a normal thing to eat pork, right? Because in some other strange culture, the East Indians eating lap and tattoo. We started eating lap and tattoo.
Right.
Because it's a normal thing. Right? Go ahead.
Right? The kind of stick and somewhere in the area of they talk about that, butters.
Yes. That's right. Right? Yeah. That's why I was alluding to Bacchus a little earlier. Right? To show you that the celebrating as the god of wine and revelry. Right? And in Carnival, that the spirit of excess does come out. So you tend to do everything in excess. So even though something might be lawful, so like for example, I told earlier, you could drink wine and you could drink alcohol, but when the spirit of Carnival come upon the people, you tend to do it in excess. So you go to drunkenness,
right?
Where people can't make it home and you have to go in the hospital and understand. There's some people know they lie down on the side of the road, you know what I mean? And they know they sell some vomiting, these kind of thing, right? So they tend to overdo it. Right?
Okay. So I think also sexual promiscuity.
Exactly, right? And we coming up to all that, right? So that's an important point to bring in there, right? So from there now, I want to go to the article, right? That's on your card. I will send you an article, right? So you will be able to follow.
You take part, no take part. Yeah? You take. I'll take the next one.
Yeah, a little split it because it's a little long.
Come on.
I think it should get in.
Yeah.
You can read from the start from the top. Slack here. Sorry, brother. Before we read that, just get John 8 and 32.
Come on.
Not as yet.
All right. No, yes.
You can send it to me.
Yeah, come on.
Bible share. So give me the book of John chapter 8 and verse 32.
Ready?
Yes. Bible share.
Come. Book of John, chapter 8 and verse 32. And ye shall know the truth,
All right, so it says, and ye shall know the truth,
and the truth shall make you free.
and this is what will make you free. Carnival, when give you freedom. Carnival, when remove your stress, right? The truth
That's right.
and the scriptures will make you free.
Right.
So, Officer Yaka, you could go ahead and read from the top of the article.
Carnival. This article is about the celebration of Carnival in many cultures. Carnival is a Western Christian festival.
Go ahead, read about that part one more time again.
Carnival is a Western Christian festival.
Go ahead.
Carnival is a Western Christian festive season that occurs before the liturgical season of Lent.
That's right. So right at the beginning of the passage, the immediately tying in Christianity, right, with the carnival holiday or this pagan holiday, right? The two, one can go the other.
Mm-hmm.
They're going with the two, right? Continue.
The main events typically occur during February or early March.
All right, so you say it typically occurs during February or early March. When you look at Trinidad today, it's typically in February. Now, this article is an article of the 16th century carnival.
Right.
So this is what since this practice was in Europe.
Right.
And yet still today, we still celebrating it in February.
Right.
Continue.
During the period historically known as Shrovetide or pre-Lent, Carnival typically involves public celebrations.
Right. So the Carnival typically involves public celebrations. And look at that today, we have public celebrations all over the streets.
Right.
Even tomorrow and the day after, all the streets will be full with the people outside parading the streets. Continue.
Including events such as parades, public street parties, and other entertainments.
Right. And we keep it in mind. This is from the 16th century.
Right.
And they say, right, it typically involves public celebrations, including events as parades and street parties.
Right.
Now, when you look at today, the same thing still going on today, centuries after. Continue.
Combining some elements of a circus, elaborate costumes and masks allow people to set aside their everyday individuality and experience a heightened sense of social unity.
That's right. So you put away who you is. So you was a doctor, you put away that, and now you are job in the street. Ball and pay the devil. Right? Or you was a teacher, right? And you wearing some strange costume or in a tongues and bead feathers on your back, right? And the same students who you're teaching in the school, right? Who is 3 and 4, them watching you in a tongues, whining on the side of the street.
Right.
And then we wondering why the children do our respect for we in school.
Right.
Understand? And how the children disrespectful. Understand? And we not understanding. If I conduct myself in that way, when I return to school, the children can erase the memory.
Right.
They don't see in that condition already.
Can.
Continue.
So like yes, and what about
Well,
the parents too? When the children see the parents
Right.
when they say
And that's a good example too. Even when the parents
right.
seeing the children seeing the parents in this manner.
Right.
They will have no respect for it. No adult in authority they will have respect for.
Can.
Because they will always recall on that day when you let yourself loose and end up in lewdness and nakedness. And they didn't care and they was drunk and they like on the side of the road and I like see my father vomit on the side of the road. Understand? And they can't erase that memory from the mind.
Right.
Understand? So now when they fall in a situation where you or as a parent go try to pull up on them, they will recall that day and say, Daddy, but remember when you was drunk and you said the road and they didn't know yourself?
Can.
Understand? They will recall all these moments. Go ahead.
Can. Participants often indulge in excessive consumption of alcohol.
That's right. And this is the word here, excessive. Now, alcohol is not unlawful, but here they say excessive consumption of alcohol.
Right.
And when we read the definition for excessive, right? It was going beyond the normal limit.
Right.
Right? Right, go ahead.
Can. Participants often indulge in excessive consumption of alcohol, meat, and other foods that will be foregone during upcoming Lent.
Right. You understand? So you stuff in your face because there's no Lent coming. You understand? So you decide since Lent coming and I can't eat certain thing, you decide I stuff in my face full. You understand? Like there is no tomorrow.
Right. Can. Traditionally, butter, milk, and other animal products were not consumed excessively. Rather, their stock was fully consumed as a reduced waste. Pancakes, donuts, and other desserts were prepared and eaten for a final time. During Lent, animal products are eaten less, and individuals have the ability to make a Lenten sacrifice, thus giving up a certain object of activity of desire.
Right, so that was their sacrifice. You understand? So some old thing that don't want to give up and don't get wax. They're giving up something that they know they can give up.
Right.
You understand? Right? Them trying to give up nothing that they don't want to. Right?
Can.
Go ahead.
Other common features of Carnival include mock battles, such as food fights, expressions, social satire.
Satire.
Can. Satire. Mockery of authorities.
Right? Mockery of authorities, right? And that is the ensuring that when all the social and political commentary does come out, and instead of talk about the prime minister,
right?
Now with this and all different politicians, they mock those in authority, right? Go ahead.
Can. Costumes of the grotesque body that display exaggerated features such as large nose, bellies, mouths, phalli or elements of animal bodies, abusive language, and disregarding acts.
Degrading.
And degrading acts, depictions of disease and gleeful death, and a general reversal of everyday rules and norms.
Read the last part.
And a general reversal of everyday rules and norms.
Right, so they say a general reversal of everyday rules and norms. So what used to apply, no longer apply. Understand? So your wife become my wife. No rules apply. Understand where I'm from? You drink in moderation, we begin to drink excessively.
Right.
Understand? Don't eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. When Carnival, we could do what we want. We can eat what we want. We can stuff we face what we want. You understand? Or adultery, do apply. You understand? Homosexuality, all of a sudden, it do apply. Right? The whole place just become lawless.
Right.
No laws in the land. Right? Go ahead.
The term Carnival is traditionally used in areas with a large Catholic presence, as well as in Greece.
All right, read about that one more time.
The term Carnival is traditionally used in areas with a large Catholic presence, as well as in Greece.
All right, so as well as in Greece, right? But then they say in areas with a large Catholic presence, Trinidad has a large Catholic presence.
Karankan.
Brazil has a large Catholic presence.
Karankan.
Mexico has a large Catholic presence.
Right.
You understand? Right? Rome and Italy has a large Catholic presence.
Right.
America has a large Catholic presence. And all where it have a large Catholic presence, somehow these countries celebrate Carnival.
Right.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Officer, you can.
Some of the biggest carnivals.
That's right.
You know, Trinidad and Brazil is known for some of the biggest carnivals
in the world. That's right. That's a great point to bring out, right? Because all these countries, as I rightfully said, have some of the biggest carnivals in the world, right? Continue.
Karankan. In historically evangelical Lutheran countries, the celebration is known as Festilavan. And in areas with a high concentration of Anglicans, Church of England,
which is the Church of England, go ahead.
U.S. Episcopal Church, Methodists, and other Protestants.
So the other Protestants is like all them full gospel church.
Right, Karankan.
Church of Christ and Universal Church.
Right.
And Open Bible and Church of the Latter-day Saints and all these churches. All we have these churches, including the Roman Catholic Church, Carnival pumping hard.
Right.
Right, go ahead.
Karankan. Pre-Lenten celebrations along with penitential observances occur on Shrove Tuesday or Mardi Gras.
Right, and we know the celebration Mardi Gras where all this madness happen and beads and people walking naked in the streets. Go ahead.
Karankan. In Slavic Eastern Orthodox nations, Malesnitsa is celebrated during the last week before Great Lent. In German-speaking Europe and the Netherlands, the carnival season traditionally opens on the 11th of the 11th, often at 11 a.m.
Right. So these European countries now have a specific time when they launch their carnival.
Right.
Right. But this tradition now, and remember, keep in mind, this tradition going on since the 16th century. Right. And if you notice, all this we read out, coming down with what's the different churches in these countries, the type of parties, how they were celebrated, right? The different events that will be happening.
Right.
From since the 16th century, it's going in the same order. Nothing has changed yet.
Karankan.
Right? Now we're in 2020 and the order still remains the same way.
Right.
Right.
Karankan. This dates back to celebrations before the Advent season or with harvest celebrations of St. Martin's Day.
Right. And I'm going down now to etymology.
Karankan. The Latin-derived name of the holiday is sometimes also spelled Carnaval, typically in areas where Dutch, French, Spanish, and Portuguese are spoken, or Carnavale in Italian-speaking contexts. Alternative names are used for regional and local celebrations.
Right. So basically, we're saying all the Europeans, this pagan festival taking place.
Right.
Right. So it coincides with the people bringing the religion and this pagan holiday taking place.
Right.
Go ahead.
Karankan. The word is said to come from the Latin expression carne lavare, which means remove meat, or folk etymology derives it from carne valley, farewell to meat.
That's right. So basically what they're saying is, because they're going into the Lenten season, right? This pagan holiday structured to more or less prepare these pagans to go into the Lenten season, right? So when it was, we just watch, locally the church go tell you that Carnival is a separate time from Lent.
Right.
But that is not true. Carnival is to prepare them to go into Lent. So during the Carnival time, you will drink in excess, eat in excess, have appease all your sexual desires in excess before you enter into the Lenten season, and that is the period where they would normally abstain or try to fast, right?
This signifies the approaching fast. The word carne may also be translated as flesh, producing a farewell to the flesh.
That's right. Continue.
Karankan, a phrase embraced by certain carnival celebrants to embolden the festival carefree spirit.
What the festival had?
A phrase embraced by certain carnival celebrants to embolden a festival's carefree spirit.
Carefree spirit. And when you look at today, tell you, we celebrating carnival. I go down and relieve my stress.
Right.
And that's where I'm coming from. Right? I release all my kids in the world. I just have 2 days. And that's where I could just let go myself and be anything. And that's where I'm coming from. And all your magistrates and lawyers and doctors and bank tellers, you can see them parading the street half naked. And that's some of them completely naked. And that's go ahead.
Karankan.
I just want to bring it up because usually even the so-called Christian, we are always relaxed and pious in the whole year.
That's right.
When they come out of the social shelf.
That's right.
And have opportunity. And then the hierarchy of the elites had the opportunity to come to the commoners.
That's right.
The same thing of the Roman and those type of those societies are. Where the emperors and all those high society are coming down low, and degrade themselves.
That's right.
Right.
That's right. That's an excellent point. You understand? So people will tend to develop this carefree spirit, right? And where the rules don't apply. You understand? And that is where plenty of these disease and STDs and drunkenness and lewdness and the Bible says the sinfulness that take place because it has no rules or no boundary, right? You literally bring yourself to the point of like an animal, right? No rules or boundary. Go ahead.
Okay. The etymology of the word carnival thus points to a Christian origin.
It points to what?
To a Christian origin.
One more time.
Karankan. The etymology of the word carnival thus points to a Christian origin of the celebratory period.
That's right. So this pagan holiday was created for Christian, right?
Right.
So Christians who celebrating the time to go into Lent. That is what Carnival is about.
Right.
Understand? The Carnival can't go separate from Christianity. They tie into one another.
Karankan.
And this is what the pastors and these leaders of these different churches don't explain to the people. Right? They try to make it look that like the church doesn't agree with Carnival, but that is not true.
Right.
Understand? This directly tied, Carnival directly tied to Christianity.
Karankan.
Go ahead.
Karankan. Other scholars argue that the origin of the word is a common meat-based country feast, in Latin Carnivalia, or the festival of the Navigrim Isidis, ship of Isis.
Right. So other scholars disagree, right? And some of them saying that it come from this Isis origin, which is that this is the same Isis in Egypt.
Right.
All right. Go ahead.
Karankan, where the image of Isis was carried to the seashore to bless the start of sailing season. The festival consisted of a parade of masks following an adornment wooden boat called the Latin Carus Navalis, possibly the source of both the name and the parade floats.
Right. So even now, so the scholars began to see the same trait. So the Carnival, the Christians have it in Europe, celebrating Carnival, going into Lent, and Egypt, right, have the same the same Carnival, but
right.
but their deity is Isis, and the Christian deity, the origin of their deity is Bacchus.
Right.
Right. But it's the same the same pagan holiday.
Right.
Right. So we're going on now. We can go down to
history.
Yeah, history.
Karankan. The word carnival is of Christian origin, and in the Middle Ages, it referred to a period following Epiphany season that reached its climax before midnight on Shrove Tuesday. British historian John Bosey, in writing on the origin of the practices during Carnival, states that these were, despite some appearances, Christian in character.
That's right.
and they were medieval in origin.
Right. So he's saying now, the characteristics are this holiday is Christian in character and medieval in origin, meaning it started a long time ago.
Right.
Right? This is a tradition.
Karankan.
Well,
Although it had been widely supposed that they continued some kind of pre-Christian cult,
that's right. Go ahead.
there is in fact no evidence that they existed much before 1200.
Right. So they're not going older than 1200. Right. That's why they tell you about Carnival in the 16th century. Go ahead.
Right. Because Lent was a period of fasting, Carnival therefore represented a last period of feasting and celebration before the spiritual rigors of Lent.
So the tie-in Carnival with Lent. Understand? That last time to do what you want before you committed to this Lenten period.
Right.
Go ahead.
Meat was plentiful during the part of the Christian calendar, and it was consumed during Carnival as people abstained from meat consumption during the following liturgical season, Lent.
Go ahead.
In the last few days of Carnival, known as Shrovetide, people confessed, strived their sins in reparation for Lent as well.
That's right. So after you willingly commit all the abominations you could commit during the Carnival season, trying to come and confess your sins. Right? Go ahead. Ash Wednesday. Exactly. And they put some ashes on the forehead, and you make the sign of the wooden cross, and somehow God forgive you. Craziness. Go ahead.
Kalankan. In 1605, the Shrovetide place spoke of Christians who painted their faces to celebrate the season.
That's right. So all the paint face, see where it starts back. Fight back with the Christian.
Right.
Right? Skip the little part and it can go down from anthropology.
Kalankan. From an anthropological point of view, Carnival is a reversal ritual.
Carnival is, Carnival is a reversal ritual. Go ahead.
In which social roles are reversed and norms about desired behavior are suspended.
Right. So social roles reverse and norms about desired behavior is suspended. So a man dressed up as woman dressed up as man. You understand? It becomes lawless. You understand?
Right.
Well.
So like I said, even back in their time, even in some areas where so-called homosexuality was subjected, or in the closet, there was that time, to let loose.
Everybody can come out now. Yeah. Exactly. Right? Go ahead.
Kalankan. Winter was thought of as the reign of the winter spirits. These needed to be driven out in order for the summer to return.
Right. So all back. So them started celebrate from all down during the Christmas season.
Right.
Or that pagan holiday Christmas. The tie into Christmas. And when the Christmas season done, they say that they drive out the winter spirit. So they're driving out the Christmas spirit. Right? Bringing the carnival spirit so that summer could come. That the craziness going on here. Go ahead.
Carnival can thus be regarded as a rite of passage from darkness to light, from winter to summer, a fertility celebration, the first spring festival of the new year.
Right? And it's a fertility celebration. And normally, we know the normal term carnival baby.
Right.
That when everybody else gets at that trend.
Right.
There's a set of unlawful sex going on right from the border.
Kalankan.
So that one, a lot of babies fluctuate the system. So they say that they're the seasonal fertility, right?
Right.
Go ahead.
Traditionally, a carnival feast was the last opportunity for common people to eat well.
Yeah, the last opportunity for common people to eat well. So you know what you're going to do? You're going to really eat.
Kalankan.
For spite. Your belly full. And you're still eating. You
Right.
want to taste everything. Go ahead.
As there was typically a food shortage at the end of the winter as stores ran out. Until spring produce was available, people were limited to the minimum necessary meals during this period.
Go ahead.
Kalankan. On what nowadays is called Vastenavond, the days before fasting, all the remaining winter stores of lard, butter, and meat which were left would be eaten. for these would otherwise soon start to rot and decay. The selected livestock had already been slaughtered in November, and the meat would be no longer preservable.
So you see how long the celebrating? They don't start in November. The prepping.
Right,
So by the time it reaches long during the carnival season, that eat it.
right.
Because all that gonna waste. Go ahead.
Karankan. All the food that had survived the winter had to be eaten to assure that everyone was fed enough to survive until the upcoming spring would provide a new food sources.
Right, continue.
Karankan. Several Germanic tribes,
Alright, so going back to Europe now, go ahead.
Karankan, celebrated the returning of the daylight. The winter would be driven out to make sure the fertility could return in spring. A central figure of this ritual was possibly the fertility goddess Tithis. Also, there are some indications that the effigy of Tithis or Freya was placed on a ship with wheels and accompanied by a procession of people in animal disguise and men in women's clothes.
And men in what?
And men in women's clothes.
So now we see how far homosexuality springing from. Go ahead.
Right. Aboard the ship, a marriage would be consummated as a fertility ritual.
Good night. Go ahead, continue.
Karankan. Tacitus wrote in his Germania 96 Centurum.
So like yeah, you can drop that and you can go down to it's happened traditionally.
Karankan. Traditionally, the feast also was a time to indulge sexual desires.
The feast was what?
The feast was also a time to indulge sexual desires.
Right, so carnival become a time to indulge sexual as well.
Right, which was supposed to be suppressed during the following period fasting.
Right, so you can have all these sexy ones because during fasting, no sex for you. Go ahead.
Karankan. Before Lent began, all rich food and drink were consumed in what became a giant celebration that involved the whole community and is thought to be the origin of Carnival.
That's right. So the celebration of Carnival tries to involve the whole community, right? So that is why they try to bring in all the races and nationalities,
right, into
one, what you call a pillar, or this one soup. Everybody hand in hand together,
right,
or this integration of all the different cultures and races.
Okay.
So then now, easily, right? When a slave down under that oppression, under a master country, it's easy to adopt these customs because everybody getting forced into this melting pot to come together,
right?
And they're making it as a celebration. So immediately you're thinking it's something good, right? Go ahead.
Karankan. In many Christian sermons and texts, the example of a vessel is used to explain Christian doctrine. The nave of the church of baptism, the ship of Mary, etc.
Right.
The writings show the processions with ship-like carts were held and lavish feasts were celebrated on the eve of Lent or the greeting of spring in the early Middle Ages.
Right, and that is this ship-like cart. Sometimes you go see the Roman Catholic Church, that Mary inside this little carting and the different, or I don't know, call it altar boys or whatever, we lifting it up,
right,
carrying it down in the procession, in the parade.
Right?
Go ahead. Yeah, well, I don't know if there's a word for them, but for these Catholic altar boys. All right, okay, cool. Go ahead.
Karankan. The Lenten period of the liturgical calendar, the 6 weeks directly before Easter, was historically marked by fasting, study, and other pious of penitential practices. During Lent, no parties or celebrations were held, and people refrained from eating rich foods such as meat, dairy, fat, and sugar.
So yeah, the fast is that they refrain from eating rich foods. So you ain't really fasting.
You understand? Karankan.
You just fasting from lasagna. Go ahead.
Karankan. The first 3 classes were often totally unavailable during this period because of late winter shortage.
Continue.
While Christian festivals such as Corpus Christi were church-sanctioned celebrations, Carnival was also a manifestation of European folk culture.
That's right. Continue.
In the Christian tradition, the fasting is to commemorate the 40 days that Jesus fasted in the desert.
Right. So them trying to commemorate the 40 days, so-called the so-called white Jesus did in the fasting, right? With the fasting, and when I look at it, them trying to commemorate that, right? Right, with wine and revelry,
Right.
and they say the only fasting from rich foods, right? So all the lasagna and kebabs and all that would the fasting from, but they're still eating, right? Well,
according to the New Testament, and also to reflect on Christian values, it was a time for catechumens, those converting to Christianity, to prepare for baptism at Easter.
Right. So, and after that now, they're going to prepare for water baptism.
Good
night.
night.
And some say you're putting yourself in more mess.
Right.
You're going. Right. Continue.
Carnival in the Middle Ages took not just a few days, but almost the entire period between Christmas and the beginning of Lent.
How long Carnival was for?
Almost the entire period between Christmas and the beginning of Lent.
That's right. So the tie Christmas straight on into Carnival, straight into Lent.
Right.
And all this was a Christian holiday.
Right.
Or a Christian tradition, I should say.
Understand?
So and it involved Carnival. So there was no separation between Carnival and the Lenten period and the Christmas season.
Right.
Everything in one. So all these pagan holidays in one. So all this was developed through the Christian church. Or the Christian religion.
Right.
Right. Continue.
In those 2 months, Christian populations used their several holidays as an outlet for their daily frustrations.
The outlet for what?
Their daily frustrations.
Right, the outlet for the daily frustrations. You understand? So all the frustration. So all the frustration, they're taking it out.
Right.
In these 2 holidays.
Right.
Continue.
Many synods and councils attempted to set things right. Salakia. Caesarius of Arles protested around 500 CE in his sermon against the pagan practices.
Go ahead.
Centuries later, his statements were adapted as the building blocks of the Indiculus Superstitionum et Paraganium, small index of superstitious and pagan practices, which was drafted by the Synod of Leptines in 742. It condemned the speculibus in February.
Yeah, go ahead.
Pope Gregory the Great decided that fasting would start on Ash Wednesday.
On when?
On Ash Wednesday.
I'm going to look at today. After Carnival here in Trinidad and Tobago, after we party for the whole Monday and Tuesday, which is going to take place tomorrow, after people carry themselves to all level of lewdness and,
right,
and sexual immorality and drunkenness, right? After they carry themselves down to extreme revelry,
right?
They say the fasting would start on Ash Wednesday. So you're going in some church, some way for them to put some ashes on your head. Remember, this was in the 16th century.
Right.
And we don't call it
Ash Wednesday.
And today they're still calling it Ash Wednesday. This Carnival holiday is not our holiday.
Right.
The Most High have high holy days written in scripture, right? For the black, the Hispanic, and the Native Indian man to follow.
Right.
But somehow, or some way along the line, these Europeans come and introduce this Carnival season to us. Understand? And the slaves adapted and picked up this culture. Understand? In the land of their slave master. And now we celebrate Carnival as well and celebrate Ash Wednesday and all these different strange holidays that is foreign of the Most High.
Right.
Right? Continue.
The whole Carnival event was set before the fasting. to set a clear division between celebrations and penitence. He also dispatched missionaries to sanctify any excess in popular carnival customs.
That's right. So they're trying to differentiate carnival from the seasonal length.
Right.
But when you really look at it and you look at the records, these two are in one. And understand this is one big massive celebration, right? So this season with wine and revelry with the God of Bacchus,
right,
continuing straight into the Lenten season.
Okay.
Right? This is not fasting. You understand? This is not begging for forgiveness for your sins. This all in one is just one big pagan holiday.
Well, it was also the custom during Carnival that the ruling class would be playfully mocked using masks and disguises.
That's right. So the mocking the ruling class and masks and disguises, right? And you look at Carnival today, still today in Trinidad, they're still doing that. Right?
That's like yes, yeah. Even back then, they know it had a ruling class.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's correct. So like yes, sir. All right. Continue.
In the year 743, the synod in Leptines, located near Beniche in Belgium, spoke out furiously against the excess in the month of February.
Right, they say the excess in the month of February because people was going to the extreme.
Right.
Extreme lewdness, extreme drinking of alcohol, adultery and homosexuality at its highest. It's just lawlessness going on in the streets, right?
Well, also from the same period dates the phase. Whoever in February, by a variety of less honorable acts, tries to drive out winter is not a Christian.
Right. You understand? So they started threatening them now. To say that he's not a Christian. They know him by threatening them, all of them is Christian. Continue.
But a pagan.
Right. So the Christians, right? At that time, who was not celebrating Carnival, calling them who celebrating Carnival pagan.
Right.
And all of them is pagan.
Right.
Go ahead.
Confession books from around 800 contain more information about how people would dress as an animal or old woman during the festivities in January and February.
So when you look at this is the confession book.
Right.
When you confess it, right? They will mark it on a book.
Right.
Right? To show that this man confesses sins whatever.
And
you see where had in the book? Go back on confession books.
Confession books from around 800 contain more information about how people would dress as an animal or old woman during the festivities.
Right. So people dress up as woman, or some dress up as animal.
You
understand? That would bring themselves. Today here in Trinidad, we like them things.
Right.
All the pay, the devil and jab and many people in gorilla suit. Man dressing up as woman, woman dressing up as man. It's just craziness, right? Go ahead.
Even though this was a sin with no small penance.
Right? And they will say, even though it was a sin. Now, to them, right? Them still don't understand what they're saying.
Right.
But they know it is a sin. And that's where I'm coming from. Right? Because they know after this period, we had to ask for forgiveness. So, which means they know that during that whole carnival period, that is sin. But yet still, they're still practicing it every day. Right? Go ahead.
Also in Spain, San Isidoro de Sevilla complained in his writings in the 7th century of people coming out in the streets disguised in many cases as the opposite gender.
As what?
As the opposite gender.
As what?
As the opposite gender.
That's right. And so in the 16th century, a man had a complaint about the amount of people coming out in the street as the opposite gender. Cross-dressing. This is in the 16th century.
Right.
Yeah, these are now 2020. And it gets to a mass now that the people don't complain again.
Right.
Because it become a common norm in the society in Trinidad to see people cross-dressing or a man dressed up as a woman. You understand? That become like a costume you see on Carnival Monday and Tuesday. You understand? Go ahead.
In the Middle Ages, Carnival and Lent were both necessary, inevitable episodes in the eternal cycle of the church year.
Go ahead.
Karankan. While forming an integral part of
Continue.
Karankan.
So many of the traditions, Christian traditions, almost the same thing as Carnival, right?
Karankan.
Continue.
While medieval pageants and festivals such as Corpus Christi were church sanctioned, Carnival was also a manifestation of medieval folk culture.
That's right. Go ahead.
Many local carnival customs are claimed to derive from local pre-Christian rituals, such as elaborate rites involving masked figures in the Swabian Alemannic fastnacht. However, evidence is insufficient to establish a direct origin from Saturnalia or other ancient festivals.
All right, continue.
Karankan. No complete accounts of Saturnalia survive, and the shared features of feasting, role reversals, temporary social equity, mask, and permitted rule breaking do not necessarily constitute a coherent festival or link these festivals.
All right, go ahead. Continue.
Karankan. These similarities may represent a reservoir of cultural resources that can embody multiple meanings and functions. For example, Easter begins with the resurrection of Jesus, followed by a liminal period and ends with rebirth. Carnival reverses this as King Carnival comes to life. Something my hand pressed.
All right, we can skip that, right? You can go back on it, and then going on to theories. All right. So basically, what we're basically saying is that this carnival into Lenten period, right, was just one big pagan holiday celebrated by Christians.
Right, Karankan.
Right. It had no separation.
Karankan.
Right? You get back?
Yeah, Karankan.
All right. Go down to theories.
Karankan.
When I reach theories, always way to go. We're going back up two paragraphs over theories.
Oh, Karankan.
Go straight down to the bottom.
No.
Right, yeah.
Right. For me?
Right here, yeah.
Karankan. Mercier Elade, historian of religions, gave us a clear explanation about Carnival and its meaning. He writes, any new year is a revival of time as its beginning, a repetition of the cosmogony, ritual fights between two groups of extras, the presence of the dead, Saturnalia, and orgies are the elements which indicate that at the end of the year and in the expectation of the new year, the mythical moments of the passage of chaos to the cosmogony are repeated.
Right. So there are these old European traditions, right, of celebrating New Year's, coming into the New Year, right? All that had some of its origins in this Carnival festivity,
right,
or holiday, right?
And Elade also writes, then the dead will come back because all barriers between the dead and the living are broken. Is the primordial chaos not revived and will come back, since at this paradoxical moment, time will be interrupted so that the dead may again contemporaries of the living.
Right. So they eyes for them to believe in, right?
So
all that Greek mythology and Roman myth and thing, they believe that the dead will come back to life.
Karankan. Elade.
Yeah, we can skip that. Go down to theories.
Right. Karankan. Interpretations of Carnival present it as a social institution that degrades or uncrowns the higher functions of thought.
That's right. So let's say now, when you look at Carnival or this pagan holiday in its entirety,
Right.
right? It making it degrade yourself because you're bringing yourself down to literally at the state of an animal. You understand? You're behaving lawless, right? In extreme lewdness and giving away to alcohol and to drunkenness. Right? People know the cell, the vomit on the side of the road. You understand? People are going to the hospital. You understand? You're leaving a train home to go down the road for this festival.
Right.
Or you're carrying a train with you and the train seeing all this nakedness. You understand? Right? You're watching the parents naked, teachers naked, doctors naked, policemen, everybody. It's just chaos in the street. You understand? So the whole society becomes uncontrollable. Right? Continue.
Interpretations of Carnival present it as a social institution that degrades or uncrowns the higher functions of thought, speech, and the soul by translating them into the grotesque body, which serves to renew society and the world. As a release for impulse that threaten the social order that ultimately reinforces social norms, as a social transformation, or as a tool for different groups to focus attention on conflicts and incongruities by embodying them as senseless acts.
That's right. So during this period, during the revelry, right? People began to clash with one another. You understand where I'm from? Because now you're fully intoxicated and nobody can agree with one another. It's just chaos. Right? And then now the fallout after this carnival celebration, or because after you pass through the whole carnival session, it's who you make bring it down into today's terms. It's who you make train with, who you didn't want to make train with. And as I'm wrong, who wife this man sleep with, and it keep going on and on and on, and it's just chaos. Right? So now we to go back to our point that was earlier, because when he was coming down, there was explaining that some people trace the origins back to Europe, and some people tracing the origins to Africa, but both the same carnival pagan holiday. Right? So continue read the geographical distribution.
Carnival was introduced by Port.
Right, really the heading about.
Right, geographical distribution: Africa, Cape Verde Islands.
Right, go ahead.
Carnival was introduced by Portuguese settlers.
Right, so this is Africa and the Cape Verde Islands. Right, and here they say Carnival was introduced by Portuguese settlers, which is basically Europeans. Right, so even if when these scholars was debating how look at the same carnival traditions coming down to these African nations, and some carnival traditions coming to the western side, right, in the Americas and in the Caribbean, it's the same people, Portuguese, right, which is the Europeans still spread this carnival holiday and they're still pushing it all through the African nation. Right, continue.
The celebration is celebrated on each of the archipelagos, 9 inhabited islands.
So it's spread across the islands, right? These African islands, right? So basically, it wasn't two different set of carnival. It was just one set of people, and it was just Christian Europeans spreading this Christian holiday for everybody. So all of them is Christian. Right? Jump down to Namibia.
Namibia.
Right? Another African nation. Go ahead.
Carnival was introduced by German settlers.
By who?
By German settlers.
Germans is our next former European.
Right?
And they also introduced it to this nation. Right? Then you go down to Secules. The Secules Carnival began in 2011. So this what happened recent, right?
It is held in the capital city of Victoria and takes place over 3 days. On day 1, the grand opening is held in the city center near the clock tower. The second day is a parade day. The third day, the closing ceremony is held and a lottery winner is announced.
Right? So, just like us, say their traditions, the features may vary, but it's the same thing, same 2 days, and on the third day it closes. The third day in Trinidad and Tobago is Ash Wednesday. Everybody closing off and looking to go back and trying to get forgiveness with a dot of ashes on the head, right? And then you know that is not forgiveness, right? Then you go down to jump to Zimbabwe.
Can. Zimbabwe. The Harare Carnival is held late in May. Events include fashion and music shows.
So it's still a fashion, still a music, right?
The climax is a street party featuring costumes and music.
Is that what?
The climax is a street party featuring costumes and music.
So all way go. Carnival is basically the same thing. Street party, costume, music.
Can.
Wine and revelry. Still celebrating Bacchus. You understand? So the white supremacy had the entire world through this Christian pagan holiday celebrating the god of Bacchanal, or Bacchanalia, which is Bacchus, the god of wine and revelry. Right? Then you go into the Americas, and in lower cases they put Antigua, right?
Can.
Well,
The Americas Antigua. The Antiguan Carnival is held from the end of July to the first Tuesday in August. The most important day is that of the Juve or Juve.
Juve, right? So that celebrating Juve as well, go ahead.
Can, in which brass and steel drum bands perform. Barbuda's Carnival, held in June, is known as Caribana. The Antiguan and Barbudan carnivals replaced the Christmas festival in 1957 with hopes of inspiring tourism.
Right, so them breaking the seventh carnival, take on this pagan holiday in hopes of inspiring tourism. The what tourists to come to the island for economic gain.
Right.
I understand. So they literally sell out the people at the island.
Right.
In this pagan festival. Right? Antigua, Argentina.
Can. Argentina. In Argentina, the most representative carnival performed is the so-called Murga. Although other famous carnivals like the Brazils are held in Argentine, Mesopotamia, and the northeast, Gualeguaychú in the east of Entre Rios province is the most important carnival. Is the most important carnival city and has one of the largest streets. It adopts a musical background similar to Brazilian and Uruguayan carnival. Corrientes in other city with a carnival tradition. Chamim is a popular musical style. In all major cities and many towns throughout the country, carnival is celebrated. As carnival coincides with summer in the southern hemisphere, in many parts of Argentina, children play with water. The 19th century tradition of filling empty eggshells and water has evolved into water games that include the throwing of water balloons.
Right. So basically, they're showing you all through these countries, right? They go down with a whole list: Antigua, Barbados, all these countries celebrating this carnival pagan holiday, right?
Right.
And basically, as we read higher before, all the countries that having the Roman Catholic, Methodist, Anglican, and all the Protestant religion, right? All of them, because all of them go into a Lenten period, right? They now celebrate this pagan holiday because it intertwined with the Lenten period. So once the religion of Roman Catholicism, Methodism, Anglican, and these four, once the religion within the society is forced to celebrate Carnival. Right? Right, so I want to go back to the next article. Yeah, so what?
Yeah, come.
Right, and let's give a touch on it again, and then I'll go on.
Yeah. Can. Bacchus, Roman god of wine and fertility.
Right, so Bacchus is the Roman god of wine and fertility, and it was taken up from the Greeks earlier, all right, which was the god Dionysus, right? Go ahead.
Can. Bacchus was a Roman agricultural god who was associated with the harvest, particularly that of grapevines. The son of Jupiter by a human woman. Bacchus was said to wander the world educating people about the delightful wines that could be made from grapes.
All right, and go down and read the facts.
Karankan. The word Bacchanalia comes from Bacchus.
Right, so the word Bacchanalia comes from Bacchus, which means carnival, and bacchanal,
Karankan.
or carnival / carnival, right? Well,
And the wild parties thrown in his honor.
and people used to throw wild parties in his honor. Well,
Karankan. According to legend, Bacchus traveled the earth teaching people how to make wine.
right, so the myth or the makeup behind Bacchus, right? Go ahead.
Karankan. And is credited with spreading grapevine cuttings around the world.
And people actually believe this, eh?
Karankan.
Well,
Secret rituals for women only were held in Bacchus' honor during the ancient Roman period.
right, so every time they have a ritual or a celebration of him, only women can go.
Right.
Understand? Well,
Karankan. Much like his Greek counterpart Dionysus.
right, so like the Greek counterpart, the Greek name for this same god was Dionysus.
Karankan.
Right? But when the Romans took it over, it was Bacchus, right?
Karankan.
Well,
Bacchus earned the title of party god.
yeah, so he earned the title of party god. You know, plenty of them like to mark. I saw for this carnival season here. Right in Trinidad, plenty of them gonna mark party god on the jersey,
Right.
on the car flag,
Right.
and they're going all them fit, right? And that was Bacchus' title. The game that title. Party
Karankan.
god. Well,
In fact, a drunken orgy is still called a bacchanalia,
right.
and for good reason.
Yeah, so a drunken orgy is still named today Bacchanalia. Well,
Karankan. Devotees of Bacchus whip themselves into a frenzy of intoxication.
right. So it had to do with intoxication, excessive drinking. Well,
And in the spring, Roman women attended secret ceremonies in his name. Bacchus was associated with fertility, wine, and grapes.
so you're associated with fertility, wine, and grapes, right? And you don't know wrong carnival season, carnival baby.
Right.
You understand? All right, go ahead.
As well as sexual free-for-alls.
Sexual free-for-all. Most times, the people who encounter sexual activities during carnival season, you carry about that person.
Right.
Because they was drunk, high, and if they do remember, some of them, they do what they train.
Right.
And as I'm coming from, it just mess. So, or sometimes you sleep with that next man's wife.
Karankan.
Right? Well,
Although Bacchus is often linked with Beltane and the greening of spring because of his connection of wine and grapes, he is also a deity of the harvest.
all right, go ahead.
His celebration is held in his honor each year at the beginning of October.
Quite back. They're starting quite back in October and coming straight up into the carnival season. Go ahead.
Right. Bacchus is often portrayed crowned with vines of ivy. His chariot is drawn by lions, and he is followed by a group of nuble, frenzied priestesses.
Right? So he must have female priests following in a chariot. And the craziness going on with this Roman god there. Go ahead.
Known as Bashe.
Go ahead.
Sacrifices to Bacchus include the goat and the swine.
The goat and the what?
The goat and the swine.
Right. Then they will sacrifice to this god, pork chain.
Right.
Go ahead.
Because both of these animals are destructive to the annual grapevine. Without grapes, there can be no wine.
So they say because they taking grapes, the sacrificing and the killing them. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I guess I'm really check what you're saying about with the two animals.
The goat and the swine.
Right. So when I check like coming on from October now, they're using the swine for the festival, like coming on to Christmas, right? And as I go up now, you get the goat will come in with all the goatries during the same carnival.
True.
The same carnival season, I think, with the thing as well.
And I was explaining earlier to how when they're starting like in November and timing Christmas, Carnival, and Lent. All of them together.
Right.
You understand? And they're making it appear separate, but it's one big, long pagan tradition. They're continuing. Right? Because they say they used to drive out the winter spirits and bringing the spirit wine and revelry. And then after they stuff the face and drink in excess, and drink all the wine and all the different and carry themselves to drunkenness and lewdness and all kind of sexual immorality.
Right.
They used to come in Lent season now to try to fast, right? And the fast, and here where the fasting from? The fasting from rich foods. So all the lasagna and potato pie and things, they eating that, but they're still eating. So they're not fasting. You understand where I'm from?
Right.
Because they're still eating, right? So and then now, and that's supposed to give them forgiveness. Understand? And yeah, and even way back in the when I was reading with the one of the Roman emperor, them used back in that time in the 16th century, them already was celebrating Ash Wednesday, and that's still going on today. And we still have it named as Ash Wednesday today. Understand? And they go in the church and get that ashes on the head and feel well.
They get you.
I get you. That is forgiveness, and I could go back and continue to be a teacher after all the students see me naked in the streets, Carnival Monday and Tuesday, and the she wearing her tongues. You understand? And expect the students that have the same respect for them in the classroom. Understand? And they want to know why this child is listening to me. You understand? When last week I see you butt naked on the street, jumping up in our band, and it was drunk.
So like this.
Even as they bring up even some of the same teachers or bank tellers, whoever, you know, when you look at the behavior, so all who you wanted to wine on, all you wanted to get sexual favors from,
That's right.
during that period of time, they get it during that time. And after that, it's like nobody know you, nobody's business.
Nobody know you. You're going back to normal.
And that was real time.
That real time, and it's like God didn't see that. You understand? We could hide from God now. We could outsmart God. You understand? We could do what we want. You understand? You know what? I just feel to relieve my stress for these 2 days. You understand? Them 2 days, like that, I just go blank. God will see that. He just turn it back. And then in the year, they start back again. Go ahead.
Like every time, that's 2 days, but
Exactly. You understand where I'm from? Right? But all these things, right, we get held accounted for, right?
Right.
We are accounted for. So just give me Proverbs 20 and verse 1.
Proverbs 20 verse 1.
Right?
Wine is a mocker, strong drink is a ragging, and whosoever is deceived thereby is not wise.
So it says, strong wine is a mocker, strong drink is raging, and whosoever is deceived thereby is not wise. Understand? So in other words, while it is not unlawful to drink alcohol or wine, don't make it deceive you. Don't carry yourself to drunkenness.
Right.
To be lying on the street in a cardboard box. Right? And as Wednesday evening, 3 o'clock, you're not waking up.
Right.
And asking with the stages. You understand? Because it was fully intoxicated and it couldn't remember where it was. You understand?
Even as I say that some people think it as a badge of honor. If they say, well, you know, boy, my head game smash.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm real drunk, but I get lit.
Right.
I can't remember. It's like almost like a badge of honor.
And you know what caused that? Christianity.
Right.
Because they never explained to you that you're never supposed to be drunk or brought to drunkenness to the point where you don't know yourself and you don't know ways and you don't know who he is. You understand? And even women and women bringing themselves to extreme drunkenness. Some of them getting raped.
Yeah.
You understand? Some of them make trend with men and don't know who the father.
Right.
You understand? So them just in the limbo. And go ahead.
So like this one, come here, right? Is this a good way to look at it? Right? The same goals this account there. But you know sometimes people go with a target in mind.
Mm-hmm.
So the moment say, all right, this man I want to capture them. I'm looking for a superstar on G or whatever it is.
That's right.
And they go and do that, not expecting that, and see them and put in their mind, okay, well, I'll get him.
Right.
And they ain't get it, and they end up with a disease.
And they end up with a disease. You understand? All that is just chaos and confusion. That whole spirit of carnival is chaos and confusion.
Right.
As I say, wine and revelry.
Right. And so like so even if they don't know who the father is, when he's sober, he realizes
He want to be no part.
he want to not part of it.
You understand?
So I can't tell you. Even when I can say when he gets so far, no, he might carry the
evil. You understand? So anything that could draw you into evilness or committing acts against the Most High, you stay away from it. You understand? Right? Give me 4:11.
that you study to be quiet and to do your own business and to do work with your own hands as we commanded you.
All right, that's slack here. Give me drop that. Give me Philippians 1:27. Baba Kusha. Philippians 1:27.
Philippians 1:27. Only let your conversation be as it becometh the gospel of Christ.
All right, so let the condition be
That whether I you or else be absent, I may hear of your affairs, that you stand fast in one spirit.
that's right. So your conduct and the way you carry yourself and the work you do is in order. Go ahead.
With one mind striving together, faith of the gospel.
Right. So go back to the top again.
Philippians 1:27. Only let your conversation be as it becometh the gospel of Christ. That whether I come and see you or else be absent, I may hear of your affairs, that you fast in one spirit.
That's right. So your conduct and your conversation must be in order, right? You know, in this season when be in order, right? You know, in this season when people participate in the Carnival holiday and they begin to take in all that excessive alcohol, your tongue begin to get loose. You begin to talk where one, say where one. You understand? Right? And as it has scripture, I paraphrasing, but I scripture Proverbs to tell about the danger of the tongue. You understand? Right? And how it can lead to going down whole city. Right? So we had to have ourselves in order, right? And in proper conduct at all times.
So like you say, you know, just emphasize, you know, how you talking about the power of the tongue, and what it could do. Even as you know, lying, you know, even so much of our forefathers, you know, died because of the lies of the tongue of a so-called wife.
That's right.
You know, and the person himself.
Right. Give me Philippians 1:10.
Philippians 1:10. That you may approve things that are excellent, that you may sincere without offense till the day of Christ.
Right. So it says that you may approve things that are excellent. Right? That ye may be sincere without offense till the day of Christ come. You understand? So all the things we participate in or as we walk through this life, we have to make sure that we do it without offense to the Most High. Right? We can drink wine, we can drink alcohol, but let me don't go in excess. You understand? Right? We know the truth about Carnival and Easter and Christmas and all these holidays. Let me don't participate in it. You understand? Let me remove myself and the children and wives from these pagan holidays. You know what I mean? Right? Let me try to be upright in the sight of the Most High. Right? Give me Titus 2 and 11.
Titus 2 and 11. For the grace of the Most High that bringeth salvation hath appeared to all men.
Right, so the grace of the Most High, right, bringeth salvation, that bringeth salvation hath appeared to all men. Go ahead.
Verse 12. Teaching us denying ungodliness and unworldly lust.
Teaching us to do what?
Denying ungodliness.
Deny ungodliness.
And worldly lust.
And worldly lust.
We shall live soberly.
To live soberly.
Righteously.
Righteously.
And godly.
And godly.
In this present world.
In this present world. Understand? So even though all these pagan activities like Carnival and well, Carnival is now, right? And Easter and Christmas and all these different holidays that they have, or that the heathen nations participate in, we have a job to do. You understand?
Right.
When Christ gave you that grace, this is why he gave you that grace for. He gave you the grace to teach you to deny ungodliness. You understand? So even though they decide to eat swine flesh during this holiday, we not participating in that.
Right.
Even though they decide to dress lewdly and in nakedness, we not participating in that. Right? If them decide to be drunkards and lie down on the side of the road and vomit down themselves and don't know who it is, we, understand? Right? The black man, the Hispanic man, and the Native Indian man, not supposed to be participating in these things.
Right.
Understand? Because these things, when we participate in these things, we bring offense to the Most High. You understand? Right? Continue. Read about verse 12 again.
Titus 2 verse 12. Teaching us that denying ungodliness and worldly lust.
And worldly lust. Understand? All the things that attract us, that these heathen nations bring, understand, that is against God, we must deny that. Understand where I'm from? Or all these strange foods that is not of the diet of the law, we're not supposed to be participating in that. Understand? All these strange sexual fornication or sexual desires, and we have the heathen nation, all these things like orgies and bacchanalian revelry. Understand? We had to remove ourselves from that. Understand? And walk upright. Understand? Even in their proper show how to conduct yourself in a feast. A feast was like a party.
Right.
Understand where I'm from? But it show you a way how to dress. Understand? The mannerisms of how you should approach that party. And how you should conduct yourself. And how you should drink. And how you should eat. Some people greedy. And that was people till they put a knife to your throat. Understand? So you wouldn't, not literally to stick to your throat, but you wouldn't be greedy.
Right.
Food. Understand? Right? And you're ready to eat everything you see. Understand? Right? You want to say something? Oh, right. Right? And you won't be ready to eat everything you see. Understand? And whether everybody some heathen offer you pork, understand, or crab or lobster, you could refuse it. Understand? That is not your custom. Go ahead.
Yeah, so like it would save you from being manipulated.
That's
sometimes you do a take thing, and because you take it, or it will subject you to be manipulated by other persons because they take or partake in these things.
That like the scripture that say, a gift destroy the heart. You understand where I'm from? Right? No, it can't like to give you something to bribe you then. You understand? So these are the things we have to try to stay away from. Right?
Okay.
Go down to 1 Corinthians 9 and 27.
The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 9 and verse 27. But I keep under my body and bring it into subjection.
Right? So you say keep under your body and bring it into subjection, meaning you bring your body to obey him, right? Continue.
Lest that by any means,
to avoid the risk by any means, go ahead.
When I have preached to others.
When I have preached to others, so after I go and tell people all do eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster, go ahead.
I myself should be a castaway.
I throw away myself. You understand? Because I couldn't subject my body, right? So I tell them people about doing pork and crab and lobster, and when I go home, I eat pork and crab and lobster. You understand? Around, we had to bring we into subjection.
So like I said,
well,
you see eating a pepperoni pizza.
yeah, you understand where I'm from? You understand? Eating a pepperoni pizza, and understand with all the pork and whatever meat on top of it, and understand? And you tell them, man, you see, a classic example because I remember a place I used to work, and it was a hospital, right? And the doctor was telling people don't smoke. Yeah. And when he explained the whole list of things about smoking, you're not going to smoke because this man convincing you. And then 2 hours later, he on the balcony smoking. Right? So yeah. That is basically the point the scripture trying to bring. Hypocrisy. It comes like that hypocrisy, you understand? And you casting yourself away because you're telling somebody don't do it, and most likely they might never see you, right? They might never see you eating a pepperoni pizza or eating pork or shrimp or crab lobster. They might never see you, right? So they might go on, right, to make it and to be right with the Most High, right? But you cast yourself away because you continue in that sin, and understand? So you throw away yourself, you cause yourself to go down the dream, right? Right, and I just saw one more wrap up with this Colossians 1 and 10.
The book of Colossians, chapter 1 and verse 10. That ye might walk worthy of the Lord unto all pleasing, being fruitful in every good work, and increasing in the knowledge of God.
That's right. Son, right? And that we job here, or why we only doing the work at the Most High is probably to walk pleasing or honorable in the sight of the Most High. Understand? And to live a lawful and righteous life. Understand? In the sight of the Most High. Right? And not be taken away by all the different festivities or activities that this society will try to push upon all the people who live in that particular society. Mm-hmm. And white supremacy pushing upon all the countries. Understand? And watching the media and the TV, because everything you don't know is Carnival. Mm-hmm. Understand where I'm from? Right? But as we job to guard we mind and to be that light towards one another. Understand? Okay. So that we will continue to shine and to continue to do the work of the Most High under command and general. Right? Understand? So basically, right? It's just a run through again on Carnival and the history of Carnival, right? And to show that Carnival and Christianity not separate, as of the church try to make it seem. Understand? They try to say that the church not associated with Carnival. But when you look through the whole entire history, Carnival ties straight into their Lenten period, and they use Carnival as a time to be free, so that when they do enter their celebration of Lent, or what they call Lent, or what they call fasting, that is their form of a release. You understand? All right? And that form of release causes them to sin even more against the Most High. You understand where I'm coming from? It's unlawful. It carries it to the point of abomination, because they commit all the things the Most High tell them not to do. You go even deeper into it. You understand? Because it's from drunkenness to nakedness to adultery, homosexuality. You understand? It even goes so back. But we reading an article or the history from Carnival in the 16th century, and they're talking about man dressing up as a woman,
right?
Dressing up as a man, cross gender, and they just look at that today as a new thing, that's a new style, they're not new, like old things. And I stand up from that already going on already. And thank God we have records written for the Black, the Hispanic, and the Native Indian man that we can look back on and see the mistakes that we wouldn't do it today. Right. So you have a chance to repent before the Most High. Right? And with that, our party class wants to priest and officer Tazo.
Security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General YAHANNA. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or a sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shut themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or a sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission to speak to a brother or a sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After the 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Right? Tithes, which is the commandment. You can find this in Numbers chapter 18, verse 21, and Malachi chapter 3, verses 8 to 10. It means tenth in Hebrew and is pronounced ma'aishara. 10% of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatever amount you like to give, definitely appreciated, right? Upcoming Holy Convocation, which is the Feast of Purim, the 14th and 15th day of the 12th month, Saturday, March the 7th at sundown, and Sunday, March the 8th. You can find this in Numbers chapter 9, verses 20 to 31. All right, want to remind Akim, right, that the Lord's Passover as well, coming up April 9th at Westchester County Center in
198 Central Avenue,
Right.
White Plains, New York, Westchester County Center, right? And that is Thursday, the 9th April 2020, and that is the Lord's 51st annual Passover.
Right. So you want to come to what I say, right? Appreciate that. And what you want to do is you want to make connections with the nearest camp leader in your zone, the nearest I.S.U.P.K school in your zone to make arrangements to go over to the Passover. All right. All so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Indians are welcome. All right. Anybody else, you're rejected. Right. So you want to make arrangements as soon as possible and find yourself, up there to find out what the Lord requires of you in this time, so that we can come out of this hell together as a people. All right. We want to remind Akim as well and Akwatian to check on social media such as ISUPK.com, right, for future events and all these different things: Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and so on. Right. For not only the events but also reading materials, information about the site, about the school. All right. If your brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he has to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, like shirts, like pants, like headband or scarf. And with that, you say, I imagine, which means to stand. Which means to turn and face the east. Right? Say the Lord's Prayer. All right. In the Hebrew, Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Wadash, Ayah, Shamka, Yahweh, Malakotka, Tabaa, Ratazaka, Ayah, Aisha, Barataza, Kawa, Ayah, Bashemayim, Natananawa, Lakam, Ka, Yawam, Wasalaknanawa, Kawabatnawa, Kasalaknawa, Kawabatinawa, Wala'a, Tabaya Aino, Banasaya one, Abal, Awashino, Ayan, Ra, Ayah, Laka, Amalakwa, Wahala, Watapara, I will love you, Aman.
What we said in the English: Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. In earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day. Our daily bread. And forgive us our debts. As we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it.
All right, this is the blessings in Hebrew. Barakatah Yahweh, Wa Yahweh Shai, Mamakala, Walahayim, Matazabia, Alawap Yahanna, Alawapyam, Asaranium, Hakwatazayan Yam, Akiyal Yam, Wakwathian, Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushai, Waraman.
In the English, Bless you, Yahweh.
Bless you, Yahweh.
And Yahweh Shai.
And Yahweh Shai.
Michael.
And Michael.
And the angel.
And the angels.
Commander General Yahanna.
Commander General Yahanna.
General.
Generals.
Captain.
Captains.
The officers.
The officers.
Troopers.
The troopers.
And the sisters.
And the sisters.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of Yahweh Shai.
Name of Yahweh Shai.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So be it.
So be it.
All right, this is the prayer for the power, the Hakam in the Hebrew. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Ba'ashem.
Ba'ashem.
Yahweh Shai.
Yahweh Shai.
Babakasha.
Babakasha.
Nathana now.
Nathana now.
Haka.
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 Larapa.
Larapa.
Kal Makala.
Kal Makala.
Kal Manawa.
Kal Manawa.
Haka.
Haka.
Lataha.
Lataha.
Hamat Zariam.
Hamat Zariam.
Haka.
Haka.
Laquayam.
Laquayam.
Amathiam.
Amathiam.
Haka.
Haka.
Al-Wakawat.
Al-Rakawat.
Hatamala.
Hatamala.
Lagarashan.
Lagarashan.
Ba'ashem.
Ba'ashem.
Yahweh Shai.
Yahweh Shai.
Tuwaraman.
Wara.
In the English. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of.
In the name of
Yahweh Shai.
Yahweh Shai.
Please give us the power.
Please give us the power.
The power to heal.
The power to heal.
All manner of sickness.
All manner of sickness.
And all manner of disease.
And all manner of disease.
The power to cleanse the lepers.
The power to cleanse the lepers.
The power to raise the dead.
The power to raise the dead.
The power against unclean spirits.
The power against unclean spirits.
To cast them out.
To cast them out.
In the name of Yahweh Shai.
In the name of Yahweh Shai.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So be it.
So be it.
This is the curses. Blessed are you, Yahweh.
Blessed are you, Yahweh.
King of heaven and earth.
King of heaven and earth.
And all things living.
And all things living.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of Yahweh Shai.
Name of Yahweh Shai.
Listen to us now.
Listen to us now.
Right now.
Right now.
Send evils and curses.
Send evils and curses.
And punishment and destruction.
And punishment and
To
destruction.
the heathen.
To the heathen.
That speak against us.
That speak against us.
Thy prophets.
Thy prophets.
The teachers.
The teachers.
The princes.
The princes.
The priests.
The priests.
The Israelite brothers.
The Israelite brothers.
And the school.
And the school.
Send evils and curses.
Send evils and curses.
And punishment and destruction.
And punishment and
To
destruction.
the heathen.
To the heathen.
And shake loose.
And shake loose.
The treasure of the rich of Israel.
The treasure of the rich of Israel.
That refuse to give to the school.
That refuse to give to the school.
Cause their riches.
Cause their riches.
To enter into thy sanctuary.
To enter into thy sanctuary.
Send evils and curses.
Send evils and curses.
And punishment and destruction.
And punishment and destruction.
To the Edomites.
To the Edomites.
And the nation.
And the nation.
And their drug dealers.
And their drug dealers.
The court system.
Court system.
Prison system.
Prison system.
Planned parenthood.
Planned parenthood.
All the government of our enemies.
All the governments of our enemies.
Amalek synagogues and armies.
Amalek synagogues and armies.
Roman Catholic Church.
Roman Catholic Church.
Pope.
The Pope.
Islam.
Islam.
Christianity.
Christianity.
Egyptology.
Egyptology.
Militia. Ku Klux Klan.
Ku Klux Klan.
Aryan Nation.
Aryan Nation.
Skinheads.
Skinheads.
Quasi-Comitazi.
Quasi-Comitazi.
Gay movement.
Gay movement.
Lesbian movement.
Lesbian movement.
Spies.
Spies.
Workers of witchcraft.
Workers of witchcraft.
NASA space program.
NASA space program.
Army.
Army.
Navy.
Navy.
Air Force.
Air Force.
Marines. Wall Street.
Wall Street.
Open up the internet.
Open up the internet.
And the airwaves.
And the airwaves.
The cable access channel.
Cable access channel.
And the radio channel.
And the radio
To
channel.
convict the spirit.
Convict the spirit.
Of any of thy people.
Any of thy people.
That seek to stop us.
That seek to stop us.
And bring swift destruction.
And bring swift destruction.
To all the heathen.
To all the heathen.
That stand in the way.
That stand in the way.
Or try to stop us.
Or try to stop us.
From broadcasting your words.
Broadcasting your words.
Throughout the planet Earth.
Throughout the planet Earth.
Let loose all the plague.
Let loose all the plagues.
Cause them to go to and fro.
Cause them to go to and fro.
Through the earth.
Through the earth.
And consume them.
And consume
And
them.
let the plague shake.
And let the plague shake.
The house of the thief.
The house of the thief.
And the murderer.
And the murderer.
Let Yahweh shine.
Let Yahweh shine.
Michael.
Gabriel.
Come down with the flying saucer.
Come down with the flying saucers.
And punish all the heathen.
And punish all the heathen.
That come up against us.
That come up against us.
As we speak thy word.
As we speak thy word.
Cause it to be known.
Cause it to be known.
By all.
By all.
That it is the angels that have done it.
That is the angels that have done it.
Cause it to be spread throughout the media.
Cause it to be spread throughout the media.
Throughout the whole world.
Throughout the whole world.
Cause them to shake and like coming.
Cause them to shake and like
In
coming.
the name of Yahweh Shai.
In the name of Yahweh Shai.
Thank you always.
Thank you always.
So be it.
So be it.
All right, this is the prayer to bless Israel. In Hebrew, Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Ba'ashem.
Ba'ashem.
Yahweh Shai.
Yahweh Shai.
Barak Lanao.
Barak Lanao.
YAHANNA.
YAHANNA.
Wabayat.
Wabayat.
Saparia.
Saparia.
Barak.
Barak.
Rapa.
Rapa.
Magan.
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 To the generals.
To the generals.
Commander General Yahanna.
Commander General Yahanna.
Generals.
The generals.
Captains.
Captains.
The officers.
The officers.
Troopers. Sisters.
Sisters.
Children. And all our families.
All our families.
And all the destroyed of Israel.
And all the destroyed of Israel.
Struggling to come into the truth.
Struggling to come into the truth.
Kila.
Kila.
Tashika.
Tashika.
Kobe.
Kobe. All the brothers and sisters fighting to come to the truth.
All the brothers and sisters fighting to come into the truth.
All the brothers and sisters in the truth.
All the brothers and sisters in the truth. Generals, captains, the officers, troopers, sisters, children.
All the brothers and sisters fighting to come into the truth.
All the brothers and sisters fighting to come into the truth. Destroyer of Israel. Commanding General YAHANNA.
Commanding General YAHANNA.
Generals,
General,
captain,
captain,
the officers,
officers,
troopers,
sisters,
children,
children,
Kinti and family,
Kinti and family,
Osel and family,
Osel and family,
the Koto family,
Koto family,
Baraknapash,
Baraknapash,
Kayalwana, Shariah.
Commanding General YAHANNA.
Commanding General YAHANNA.
Generals,
the captains,
the
officers,
troopers,
the troopers, sisters, Shamka, Kaya, Rapa, Para,
Osel and family,
Kinti and family.
all the brothers and sisters trying to come to the truth.
All the brothers and sisters trying to come into the truth.
Commanding General YAHANNA.
Commanding General YAHANNA. General,
captains,
officers,
the officers,
troopers,
sisters, children.
children.
Brothers and sisters fighting to come to the truth.
Brothers and sisters fighting to come into the truth.
All the destroyed of Israel.
All the destroyed of Israel.
All our families.
All our families.
Busby family.
Busby family.
Oneland family.
Oneland family.
Commanding General YAHANNA.
Commanding General YAHANNA.
Generals,
Generals,
captain,
officers,
the officers,
troopers, all Israel,
Kar,
Amataza,
Bada,
John family,
the
Koto family, Alexis family, all Israel.
All Israel. All the brothers and sisters in I.S.U.P.K. All the brothers and sisters fighting to come into the truth. Wesleyan, Daniela, Zion.
Ba'ashem Yahushai.
Tawada
What you said in English was Lord,
Lord,
in the name of Yahushai.
name of Yahushai.
Bless us
And
Israel
and Israel.
and the school.
Bless,
heal,
shield,
protect our loved ones. In the name of Yahushai.
Name of Yahushai.
Thank you. So be it.
So be it.
All right. Men of Israel, sir, you're gonna give the teacher one courtesy salute. Men of Israel, Imajim Shabbat, Imajim, Barak. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai B'Katam. Yajimata, sir, which means turn, face the sisters. Men of Israel, give the sisters a courtesy salute. Imajim Shabbat, Imajim, Barak. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Yajimata, class dismissed.